Hey everyone, my name's Gunther and welcome back to our Ottawa Zoo. We are slowly taking shape. We have actually, in our last episode, we kind of cleaned up our front entrance. We have a new base exhibit, which we're leaving up to those viewers who are watching to decide what we're going to put in here. I'm partial towards alligators, but I will admittedly leave it up for you guys to tell me what you want to see in here. On top of that, we've developed and started pushing forward into our Arctic zone. We actually have a fantastic little entrance point, so you can see Arctic Point. Again, the name is up for grabs. Feel free to recommend a new name, but as they come around, they're going to run into their reindeer exhibit, and then we have our Arctic Fox exhibit. Now, in today's episode, I'm thinking that we're going to extend our exhibits behind. So here's my thought process. I want to redesign this a little bit. We have a rock wall, but we actually don't really need a rock wall. And what I want to replace this with is a legitimate wall using terrain. So we're going to redesignate or rebuild this a little bit, build it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer, give it a little bit more of a more natural feel. It doesn't necessarily have to be surrounded by rock all the way around. And we're going to have it bridge onto the back of our Arctic Wolf exhibit. Now, our Arctic Wolf exhibit needs to be quite large. Let's see here. If we're looking at 8, because I believe that we can have max 8, we're looking at about 2,000 square meters. Now, big $1 million question. We can pick up some Arctic wolves. We do have conservation credits. We want to stay away from spending conservation credits. We would rather start with our purchasing, as bad as that sounds, purchasing our Arctic wolves and then building up our own breeding program. This will be another wolf exhibit. We have our timber wolves, but I'm going to go a little different today. Because it's the Arctic, we would naturally see some cave formations, which we already saw over there, but we're going to try to incorporate a little bit more of an Arctic feel. I'm actually really happy with what we've done here. I'm going to try to emulate it with our timber wolves. But that being said, we've learned a few things from building our Arctic Fox exhibit. Specifically, we should terraform before we kind of go in. You can see there's a very large grade, a very large slope, so we can't really work with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to build around this. Now, the important thing here is we may not go as far back as over here, but I would, because that's quite large. This exhibit, our reindeer exhibit, will actually it's 3,000 square meters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3,500. So that's quite a large exhibit. I don't know if we necessarily need something as large. So maybe I take it back. We'll kind of put our wolf exhibit right here, and then we'll leave this area right here for a polar bear exhibit. Although now that I'm thinking about it, we may move our reindeer into a new exhibit. They actually don't need such a large exhibit. They're surprisingly small. So if we were to go and take a look here, they actually don't really need a whole lot. So if they were to max out at 10, they need less than 1,000, so a third of the space. So we may actually repurpose this for a polar bear exhibit. Although I'm so on the fence because I have so many thoughts for a polar bear exhibit. We're not quite there yet. We actually need some more conservation credits, but that's our goal today. Our goal is to build up our timber wolf. Sorry, my apologies. Our Arctic wolf exhibit, and I'm thinking now that I say this, I think we're gonna work it into right here, and then we'll kind of move out right here, and then we'll kind of circle around, and then we can have an underground viewing section for our polar bears. We'll leave them up here, but that's our goal today. Whether or not it actually works, who knows, but it's going to be a learning experience for everybody. So tune in and let's see what we can accomplish today. Well, that took a bit of work. I was trying to make a circular like gazebo almost, and I just couldn't figure it out. So you saw a lot of like back and forth, and then I just ended up settling on this monstrosity. Am I happy about it? No, but it does the job for now, and that's the important thing. But we have our Arctic wolf exhibit. Now, I've done two things. I've added two separate caves. Now, the reason why is that with most wolf populations, they would have an alpha, an omega, and a beta. And the omega would be the outsider. And they wouldn't really traditionally stay, like they wouldn't sleep with the rest of the pack. They'd be part of the pack, but they'd be the bottom feeder. So the idea behind it was that we would need two dens to separate them. So the omega would go in the other one, kind of thing like that. So I don't know if there is if that feature exists in the game, but I think that's the intent behind it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That being said, we are just going to quickly fix this. I don't know why it's they're kind of weird, but okay. There we go. So I think that's it. I've spent a lot longer than I anticipated on this build, but we've done something we haven't really done before, which is we utilize natural terrain in the background to kind of, as opposed to rocks, to kind of create that wall, that background of that wall. Now, in the next episode, or maybe off screen, what I'll probably do is just fill in the area with a little bit more trees, things like that, to break it up. But this is our Arctic wolf exhibit, and as you can see, it's slowly drawing in some guests. I actually like this kind of little feature. I was in a zoo where they had something very similar, where you could kind of just sit and like watch out and look at the Arctic wolves and stuff like that. But in this case, it wasn't a wolf; it was a jaguar. But yeah, it's just kind of a really cool feature, and it took some finagling. I had to get them to walk up here because that was I needed that to be part of their exhibit because they are at capacity. We can't fit another wolf in here, so that's something that we just have to keep in mind. But I'm actually quite happy with this, and you know what? If I'm not mistaken, they're quite happy as well. Couldn't have been worse. So we've built our next habitat. So in our next episode, and I'm going to be basing this off of your guys' feedback, is what do you guys want to put in here? What kind of animal or exhibit would you like to see put together? I'm, like I said or mentioned, I'm leaning more towards American alligator to kind of go with the theme of North America in this section, and then the Arctic in this section. But let me know, because I'm very curious to see what you guys think. I'm actually a huge fan of these new waterfall blocks that we unlocked. So the waterfall cliff it makes my job a heck of a lot easier, which is really nice. And I kind of like this. They have it is really just like the little back area, so you wouldn't really see your keepers coming in. I wonder if I should set up like an education point right here as well, so that they could because I think it's close enough for them to actually feed, which is really cool. So future, the future. As always, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think of the build, and of course, if you're feeling up to it, subscribe. If not, that's okay. It's always nice. Otherwise, ciao for now, everybody.